This morning, it is quiet outside of the Kent County Courthouse. That's after a jury has been seated in the trial of Christopher Schurr. A judge called 200 potential jurors to the courthouse Monday. So from Tuesday to Wednesday morning, 50 people were interviewed. Before noon on Wednesday, 14 were selected and seated in the case. A reminder, if you're unfamiliar with the case, Schurr is facing second-degree murder charges in the shooting death of Patrick Lyoya. It happened several years ago. So who are these jurors? Their identities, of course, being protected throughout this trial. What we do know is 10 jurors are women, 4 of them are men, most of them are white, 3 are Hispanic, and 1 of those is an immigrant. 1 person is black in the jury. Many of the jurors also work in healthcare. The court went through 11 jury variations as the final 12 members were selected on the 11th variation. An attorney on Christopher Schurr's defense team spoke with reporters outside of the courtroom. He said he was pleased with the makeup of the jury and is looking forward to arguing his case Monday. Listen.
It was a little bit unusual process. Normally you pick a jury with 12 or 14 people in the jury box. Here we did it one at a time, so we had some concerns it might take longer than usual. A normal jury pick, usually you can get that done in a half a day or a day at most. Because of the high profile nature of the case, thought it might take longer, especially the way we were doing it. Turns out we kind of got some momentum starting yesterday. We kind of knew what the rules were and finding people that were willing and eligible to serve. And so I think, we got done with both sides having strikes left of jurors, which happens from time to time, but, we're pleased with the jury and we'll be ready to present evidence.
Can you talk at all about the racial makeup of the jury? There's 1 woman who identified as biracial, I think 3 Hispanics, the rest white. The county is 10% African American. Can you talk at all about that?
It's hard. It's hard to tell what the racial makeup is. I don't question people on what their racial makeup is. I mean, you have eyes, you can see what the racial makeup is, but it's really not a concern, and it shouldn't be a concern for either side. What is a concern is, what's been their experience as a citizen of the United States, and whether, because they're going to bring that in jury deliberations. So whether they're black or white, it doesn't matter as much as what their answers were. And so as far as how we ended up with the composition that we did, I saw the veneer, you guys saw the veneer, maybe you didn't, at least I did. It was a very diverse group, and then they're chosen at random to come on up. I certainly had no way to pick, but and neither did the prosecutor. So it's just a luck of the draw.
Well, I mean, should race even play a part does race play a part in this trial?
It's not a race-based crime. Obviously, race is always an issue as part of the fabric of our society, but it's not going to be an issue in the case, other than what the personal experiences of the jurors are. And you can't separate yourself from your experience growing up in the United States, and we're not asking them to do that. But it is what it is. I mean, it's not going to be a legal issue or a factual issue.
All right.
Another question on the makeup of the jury. I've never seen a jury selection before, but I would say maybe 2 people are what you'd call senior. The rest appear to be in their 20s and 30s. Seems like a younger jury. Any comment on that?
You may be right. Again, this comes down to who comes up and we're questioned. I did think most of the jurors were not retired. I don't know why that is. For the same reason. Usually you get a lot of people that are retired.
What do you mean by senior exactly?
A lot of jurors said that they were familiar with the case, but they had kind of forgotten about it. One even said she thought it was over. I mean, the length of time that's passed since the incident, is that helpful to your side? Is it helpful to the case overall? So many people know it, but they don't really remember.
We did not want jurors who had formed an opinion. Neither side did. And, it was a high-profile case. The video was out there. So a lot of people had seen the evidence. So having someone that said, I thought it was over, was a good thing from my point of view. It means that they didn't really consider it. They had maybe heard of it, but then it was over. So does that help one particular side? I don't think so. Because both sides wanted people that didn't form opinions about the evidence. They wanted them to listen to it fresh, as if they never heard anything before and draw conclusions based on what they hear in the trial.
Now, Kent County Prosecutor Chris Becker did not speak with the media yesterday. Kent County Commissioner Robert Womack, who has been advocating for Patrick Lyoya's family, has been attending jury selection. He broke down his perspective on the jury.
The makeup of the jury, at least by the end, they had one African American on there. We just want to make sure there's some representation on the jury. We've always questioned the jury pool for years, making sure that it's representative of the whole community.
So you're okay with how this shook out? I mean, Kent County is, I think, 10% African American.
Yeah.
So it's about.
Yeah. So racially, we have one African American, so we can't argue about that. But when you talk about the demographics and location, you have incidents happening in the heart of Grand Rapids urban area, and the majority of the people who you might put on a jury may come from as far as Cedar Springs. They can come from anywhere in Kent County. So it's definitely going to be a challenge, but we're going to trust the jury system. I believe every member of the jury should be applauded for stepping up for this historical case.
All right, thank you.
How do you feel about, there was a juror in there yesterday who said he marched with you. He got booted. Did you feel like, are there particular jurors who you're looking at for bias? Anything you've heard in there? Because you sat through a lot of it.
I didn't think he should have been booted because he came to a protest on the George Floyd case. It wasn't anything to do with the Patrick Lyoya case. It was a march that was done to prevent a Patrick Lyoya incident. So I didn't think he should have been questioned along those lines and removed.
You feel generally the process here was okay? I mean, you talked about the makeup of having more African Americans on the jury, but only one even walked through the door that we saw. Do you feel like anything in the process gave you pause?
One of the things gave me pause that after watching these days, I only saw one African American that was interviewed in these last 48 hours. So we still have to do something when it comes to the jury pool to have true representation.
And how are you feeling about Monday?
I'm feeling good for the family because Patrick Lyoya's family has waited 3 years, and that's one thing we wanted to see, that this system would not stop it. It's now in the hands of a jury. So for once, an officer is being treated like the rest of the public. You do something this questionable where you have so many people that say you shouldn't have did it. You have some people that think that you have the right to do it because you're a police officer. Well, we want to see a jury try it, and that's one of the biggest things the family asked. And I think people should be happy that it went to trial because it's going to show us a lot about the system. It's going to teach us a lot about our community, our city, and how people feel. I learned a lot just listening to the jurors when they talked about how they felt about policing, how they felt about safety in the community. So I think it's going to be an educational experience at the least for everyone.
Yeah, they hate all of us. A number of them said that.
One of them actually used the word hate.
Yeah.
Historically, being a student of Dr. Martin Luther King, indirectly, of course, because of his early demise in life, but the media has been a big part of us getting to where we are. Because I've been an activist for this for over 20 years, and there were the days that we would take this to the media and they didn't want to hear it. They felt basically if you were the police, you could do no wrong. So I'm glad I lived to see a new generation of media journalists and outlets out there in my community. Is very thankful that their unbiased coverage, to be able to tell all sides, is something generations before didn't get in Grand Rapids. So we're very thankful for the media coverage.
Could you talk about your relationship with the Lyoya family? I mean, how close you've gotten to them. Obviously, you sat with them during the jury selection. You've been with them on marches.
From day one, working with the Lyoya family and seeing all the question marks they had when it came to the American justice system, we became very close. I didn't know I would learn so much more about the American justice system on this journey with them, but we're in constant contact. Justice for them, of course, would be seeing the officer go to jail. My thing was to help them through the process, not to be a voice on the outcome one way or the other, but to help them to the process. And I really felt I've done my job to help them through the process and them to be able to sit in court and watch this officer tried by a jury. And I just tell the community, no matter what the outcome, we're gonna have to accept it, and we can't take it out on businesses, we can't take it out on each other, we don't need violence, we don't need riots. That's something that even the Lyoya family has been trying to get out to the media. They care about their son, but they also don't want to see anybody else in that position, and any type of violence puts other youth at risk. So we definitely want to put that out, that we want peace after this verdict.
And you, of course, can watch the trial live right here on 13 on Your Side. We will have gavel-to-gavel coverage for you from 8:30 to 5 every day on 13+. Plus, hear from our crews inside and outside the courtroom. It's all right here starting Monday.